You're watching BionicDance. Don't run on automatic, instead, please think.
I have 10 questions I want to ask atheists out there, agnostics, if you do not believe in God.
I do enjoy these Q&A vids, but man, do I ever wish they'd come up with some new ones. I'm mostly making this video because some of my subscribers may be new to atheism. Hopefully I'm reaching more people than just the old guard out there, and it may be helpful to them. So let's do this. Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. When theists ask us questions, it's often to challenge us, the premise being that if we can't answer, then somehow we lose and they win, as if their own answers are then correct by default and not open to similar challenge. Having a reply isn't enough. You have to be able to prove that reply valid. But sometimes it's because they're actually curious, and it's not always easy to tell which we're seeing. But either way, giving answers can be constructive. So, on to the questions.
My first question I wanted to ask is, how did you become an atheist? Were you born in a home without the talk of religion? Were you a believer once and then walked away from God? What's your story?
I was raised in a home where religion was never forced on me, no matter what my parents were doing. My mom was largely indifferent to having been raised Jewish, and my dad had been raised Catholic and said, screw this. But they ended up trying a little bit of everything when I was a kid, so I saw a lot, but was left to choose my own path, which pretty much left me an atheist because just about everything I saw was either boring as hell or extremely goofy. I didn't become a militant atheist until I saw how badly religion mistreats people, but aside from trying like hell through my childhood to use the Force, I was never religious at all.
2, what happens when we die?
Oh, a lot of things happen when we die. We just don't get to see any of it, 'cause we're dead. Our consciousness, our ability to experience, comes from our senses, processed by the brain. We are, in effect, meat robots. And when our bodies break and stop functioning, that's death. We don't work anymore, and we're beyond repair, just like an old car or computer.
What if you're wrong? And what if there is a heaven? What if it does exist? How would you react to that if there was a heaven and the whole time you did not believe that there was one?
Well, it could be pretty nifty, or it could be kinda shitty. It really depends on what it's like and what happens when I get there. I admit, it could be a bit of a relief. I don't like the idea of ending more than anybody else. But my question back to you is, what if you're wrong? Not about there being a heaven, you'd be dead and who cares, but about which heaven it is. Suppose you've been worshipping the wrong God all this time, and then he, she, it, or they send you to their own version of hell. Oops. How would you react to that?
Without God, where do you get your morality from? And if there is no God, can we do what we want? Are we free to sin, murder, rape, while good deeds are unrewarded?
Why on earth would we be allowed to do whatever we want? Do you like pain? Would you take kindly to being robbed? How does the idea of being murdered strike you? We don't want these things to happen because we almost certainly won't enjoy them, and we're not about to let other people do that to us. And they're not about to let us do it to them. We get our morality from knowing how much misbehavior sucks and what people will do to us if we hurt them. No God required.
If there is no God, how does your life have any meaning?
What does it even mean for life to have meaning? I hear people say this, but the concept is so abstract that, honestly, it doesn't make any sense, not even if there is a God. You live, you die, you go to heaven, and then what? An eternity of worship? For what purpose? Why would a God even need or want worship? What kind of ego problem does that guy have? Or are you building something? I remember a video game once where you build both heaven and hell, like a celestial Sim City. But instead of money, you got worship points from heaven and suffering points from hell, and that's what you use to build the afterlife. Or something like that. I haven't played the game in more than 20 years, but the basic concept is there, and that should be good enough. But if you are building something through worship, what is it? And why does it matter? And why can't an all-powerful God just poof it into existence? Or is the alleged meaning just being a fanboy or fangirl of God? If so, that's not much of a meaning as far as I see it. Bottom line, I think the only meaning life has is what you give it. You're only here for a limited time, so make the best you can. And if that's not good enough, you have my sympathy. But for me, that's plenty.
Where did the universe come from?
Don't know. And neither do you. Allegedly, your God built it, but that's just what religious people say. They've never been able to show it, to prove it. And don't go pointing at your holy text as evidence. That book is what's making the claim that needs proving.
What about miracles? What's your opinion on miracles? What all the people who claim that they have a connection with Jesus? What about those who claim that they have seen saints or angels?
I'm more ready to believe people who say they've been abducted by UFOs. At least we're talking about technology and other life forms, things we have experience with. But miracles? We're talking about the laws of the universe being badly bent, if not actually broken. And we're talking about events that have never been recorded on camera for some reason. Miracles seem to dry up as soon as science started finding answers, and as soon as we had easy ways to record events as they happen. Now all we get is Jesus appearing on toast. God doesn't heal amputees. God doesn't do anything big and splashy, obvious magic. This should strike you as suspicious.
And what is your view on Dawkins, Hitchens, and Harris?
I used to like Harris, but now I think he's a bit of a wank, not the biggest fan of his political views. As should be obvious from the intro, I've actually met Richard Dawkins. I definitely respect his position on atheism. Hitchens was one of the best speakers we ever had. Like Harris, he had some political opinions I didn't quite agree with, but his acerbic way of dealing with theist woo-woo was beautiful. I think the biggest issue I ever took with him was that he had the extremely bad taste to die on my birthday.
And last question, if there is no God, then why does every society have a religion?
Because humans would rather make shit up than admit they don't know something. Because humans are scared and want the comfort and security of knowing someone is looking out for them. And because the real world is kind of boring without magic. If Star Wars had been told as legend to pre-industrial societies, all glowing swords and flying through the stars, heroes and villains who stop whole worlds from being destroyed, a father who turns to evil with a son who helps him redeem himself, and a daughter who is made a princess, we'd probably be worshipping the Jedi right now. Of course, Australia is asking people to stop putting Jedi down as their religion because it's screwing up their census data regarding religion, so maybe even science isn't enough to stop people from taking stories and legends too damn seriously. You think? Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please, think.
So, who wants cake? You have to rate first.